Charlie, one of these days, I'm going to do this trench report. And I'm going to be smiling because these guys are doing well and they're moving in the right direction. But that is not the case for this game. I thought they actually took a step back this week, with the exception of Broderick. I thought he maintained, which is a good thing for him. But starting with your trench report, starting at the right side.
For people who are new to this, give an update, give your story grade.
This is the trench report where I break down film every morning. Monday morning, I watch the All 22 and I break down the film. Plus for a good play, double plus for a play that ends up in a big play. A minus for obviously a bad play, and a double minus for a sack or a penalty of some sort. So very rudimentary grading, but still effective. It gives you a look or at least an idea of how they performed. And so we're going to start on the right side with Troy Fontanu, worst game of the year. He's young. Everybody's allowed to have a bad game. I've had plenty of them, Charlie. But this was a surprise because I thought that he was trending in the right direction. He got dominated, for lack of a better term. I can't remember the Patriots defender that was over him the whole time, but he gave him issues the entire match. And he gave up a sack. He has a false start in a crucial time of the drive. On that last drive, he had a false start. Thank God we were able to overcome it. But pre-snap penalties have been far and few in between. That's the one positive about the O-line, is that we have not had very many of those. And unfortunately for Troy, he had one at a crucial time. But I don't think that he's going to stay here long. He has too much talent, and the general disposition of him as a football player, I think, is going to improve. He's going to take this personally, and I expect him to jump up because he has a big challenge versus this Minnesota Vikings front. They are active. But he wasn't the only one that had their worst game. Mason McCormick also inside 81%. Now, 85% is what I consider a good grade. 85% or above. Anything below 85%, that means you got some legit film work to do and some technique issues to work out. Nobody got above 85. Isaac got exactly at 85, and that's the highest grade we had this week. Mason, obviously, with the 81%, did not perform up to standard. I thought he got thrown around inside a little bit. The interior of the Patriots D-line gave him and Zach issues. And so that was a little disappointing to see because they both started out great. We both saw that first drive when they were marching the ball downfield, and Jalen was running right behind that duo of Mason and Zach Frazier. And so a little disappointing to Mason, but I expect him to rebound. Zach Frazier usually has been pretty solid. This is his first sub 85% grade for me this year. No stab issues, fantastic. But he just looked small out there. He was getting pushed around, didn't get up to the second level a couple of times when he had a clear opportunity to, because Spillane was in the backfield way too much. Robert Spillane, we're very familiar with him. I actually wish he was still in Pittsburgh because he has etched out a pretty good career for himself since he's left Pittsburgh. And so, but we didn't need to see 14 in the backfield as much as he and on as many tackles as he was. And so a little bit disappointed in Zach, but I know he'll pick it up as well. Isaac, we were on him last week. We needed him to pick it up as far as the leadership is concerned a little bit. I think there is some more communication happening with Broderick because, like I said, Broderick is playing a little better. Not world-beating by any stretch of the imagination, but he needs Isaac's help in order to reach his full potential. Isaac had some plays. His play left a little bit to be desired, but it was solid, and he was the most solid out of everybody yesterday. Broderick. So I finally saw him throw some hands, Charlie. He threw some hands. And so that's all I wanted to see. And that tells me that he's listening to coaching. He's trying to implement that to his game because, honestly, that's the only thing he's missing. He's an athlete. His footwork is fantastic when he wants to be, and he wants to come off the ball hard. But one thing I will say, and the reason for this grade is not so much his physicalness and missing blocks per se, but he had at least 4 mental assignments that I saw. And that is a knock on him, knock on his film study, not being totally prepared. He's been in the league 3 years now, and he can't have that happen anymore despite him not playing left tackle to start. This is his 3rd year. He can't have those mental assignments, but I will say that it's good that he did not take a step back this week. So that is your trench report for this week. What say you, Charlie?
I have a question for you because I saw earlier today that you were sitting back and you said you had a tweet.
Yeah.
I know we've been talking about the run game, and even they only had 64 yards rushing as a team. But there was a picture that you showed on your tweet that said it frustrates you the moment that you turned on the film from all 22. Can you explain what you were talking about?
Basic stuff. And maybe I'm old. Maybe I'm old school. I've learned from the great Russ Grimm and Sean Coolers of the world, Larry Zerline. And it's basic stuff. I know that the league in general is more shotgun. And as a lineman, when you're in shotgun, you have the choice to be in a 3-pointer or a 2-point stance. But to start the game, first down, Aaron under center, we're running what we used to call a 25 blunt, which is weak zone, right? And everybody's in a 2-point except for Zach and Mason. And it just drove me crazy. Like that, when you're in the 3-point, you can come off the ball more. You're lower than your defender. It gives you natural leverage. When you're in a 2-point, you automatically get the defender leverage. And so I had to make sure that I wasn't old. I went and looked at other offenses in the NFL to see, do they do something simple as getting a 3-point stance when the quarterback is under center and you have a tight end on your side? Generally speaking, that's what you do. If you're a tackle, you get in a 3-point when the tight end is on your side. And if you're on the open side with no tight end, you have the choice to be in a 2-point and a 3-point. It just comes off as not having the right attitude to come off the ball, in my opinion. And if that play had counted, it would have been a negative play. And who knows what would have happened after that. Thank God we had offsides by Chason over Broderick on that play. And so we started 1st and 5 after that. But Jalen got tackled in the backfield on that play. And I think something as simple as getting a 3-point and a 2-point consistently, because it was a mixed bag. Sometimes they were in a 3-point, sometimes it was a 2-point, and it didn't look like it was play related. Something as simple as that gets everybody on the same page, and it needs to be addressed, in my opinion.
Great explanation. Yeah. I'm one of those ones, especially when it's 1st and 2nd down. I would like to see them in the 3-point stands. 3rd down, completely different story. We get it. 2-point stands, whatever you're comfortable with when it's an obvious passing situation. But when you're in that stand, number one, the pad level's lower. Mm-hmm. You can drive off the football that way, and maybe the running game gets going. But unfortunately, that's not the way that this system has been, and it's been like this for a very long time. But again, now that you're explaining it, you're giving the audience, you're that insight of what that lineman is thinking about versus us watching it from the outside.
And so I was watching the Patriots O-line. Every time there was a tight end on their side, every time they had a tight set, that tackle was in a 3-point stance. And so it's not like it's extinct. Granted, the league is 80% shotgun probably. I think we're actually starting to come back to the early 2000s where we're seeing a lot more power. We're seeing more fullbacks being deployed, more tight ends playing fullback. And so I think we're going to get to that emphasis where the power running game is going to come back in a big way. We saw what happened last year with Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley and how successful those teams were because of the run game. We see what's happening in Indianapolis with Jonathan Taylor. And so in order to get Jaylen Warren's full potential, I think something as simple as getting in a 3-point stance on 1st down will go a long way.
So you just gave your trench report. There's reports out there of people saying that, hey, maybe they played they played really good, and because they didn't give up a sack.
Yeah.
So what do you take on other people that are giving their grades on offensive linemen versus what you're watching?
Sacks lie all the time. A-Rod got hit quite a few times, and actually there would have been a sack that Troy had given up that caused the fumble that Jalen recovered, but there was defensive holding, so we were able to continue that drive. So it's not like Aaron didn't get hit. We just didn't have any official sacks. And so I will say as a whole, pass protection was better. Aaron had more clean pockets, but then again, he got rid of the ball like 2 seconds because he was throwing underneath the whole game. He didn't have the time to throw downfield. And so, yes, just like sometimes when a team gives up 4 or 5 sacks, it's not all on the O-line. Just because a team gives up 0 sacks doesn't mean the O-line played well either.